Oh, how the insecure have fallen. Oh, man. All right. Welcome back to Mr. America Hart. I am John Hart. And today, man, I have to share with you guys. It's not like I'm lacking for content here, but this is really interesting how these things kind of pop up right when I'm about to shoot other videos. And one of them in particular is insecure fitness YouTubers. I'm going to bring up a couple of names along the way here that, have really kind of jumped out at me. Very big names that just, for some reason or another, I don't know, they've kind of banned me from their channels. Why? Why would you do that? Oh, well, let's take a look at this, okay? Y'all know that I've always pointed out how I follow several people. I usually name the ones who I follow. I've always named my number one, Jeff, Athlean X. I've always followed his videos from the beginning of the time when I was on YouTube, just watching YouTube. So I've really enjoyed his videos. He's covered a host of topics over the years. And I find him to be a great example of a good YouTube channel that offers a whole ton of free advice. And yes, he sells a whole bunch of stuff just like we all do. And that's fine. However, in the last couple of years, when a bunch of the YouTubers kind of got involved in, covering certain subject matter that really was kind of out of the wheelhouse, let's say, and I'm not talking about Jeff over at Athlean X, but there's been a few. If anything, he's super qualified to talk about things like high intensity training and all the whole Mike Menser heavy duty stuff. That's been kind of my wheelhouse, right? Because Mike trained me. I won all my titles that way. I've always conducted myself on YouTube, shooting out a lot of high intensity training advice to y'all and breaking down some of his routines, but also pushing my own books and my own material, right? Well, in this last year in particular, I've had two interactions here, which, man, just really kind of hit me like, why? And I'm going to share them with you, okay? And for the most part, I find that my communication and my interactions with many YouTubers is great. I've been interviewed a lot. I interview a lot of them, and sometimes we collaborate on things. It's, for me, it's been kind of fun. And then this has occasionally happened where I find an interesting topic that somebody's covering, okay? And one of them in particular, recently in this last year, it was a TED Talks, and it was Dr. John Jaquish, and he's the inventor of I don't want to get it wrong, X3? I want to say AX3. I'm getting confused between Athlean X, but I think it's X3 or X bands, okay? And basically, he invented some bands for training and called it variable resistance, which it does offer. You do have variable resistance on bands where you gain more resistance or they resist more the closer you get to a full contraction or the band is stretched out. So if you're doing a banded bench press with a band behind your back and your hands are holding onto it and you drive it out as I am towards you, the closer I get to you, the further the band is stretched, the more resistance it offers. Now that in and of itself is good, okay, in the way that you're much stronger, as Dr. Jaquish has pointed out, you're much stronger the closer you get to full contraction out here. Many times stronger than you are way back in the full stretch position. And because of that, variable resistance is a good thing. Okay. When I listened to his TED Talk, and I did listen to the entire thing, I think he's done more than one, but I commented on the video just asking him what he thought of Arthur Jones and Nautilus. And, this is a guy who's in the industry. It's a guy who does have a PhD in, I believe it's biomedical engineering or biochemical engineering. He's done research on bodies and how they work. So he is sort of an authority in the field, even though, people complain that he got his PhD online. Well, I don't complain about that. Y'all, anybody who complains about that, it's still hard to get, okay? It's not just pay for it and you get it. It doesn't come in the mail like you just bought, a pack of gum. It doesn't work that way. So, in any event, when I asked about, Doc, I just asked his opinion on Arthur Jones and the Nautilus equipment. He said that Arthur had it backwards. No. Arthur had it actually set. He set all of the kidney-shaped cams on those Nautilus strength machines according to the strength curve of the muscles. So where you were stronger, there was more resistance. In some cases, that was near full contraction. It was actually more precise than what the doc was suggesting bands offer. Bands just get harder and harder the more stretched they get, right? They offer more resistance. It's not how our bodies work. The biceps is a great example because as you curl up, there's a point that you hit around mid-range where the muscle is strong, but when you get all the way up to a full contraction of a curl, this portion, the resistance drops off. But with a band, it's at its fully most stretched point, which means it's offering the most resistance. So I found this interesting. When I asked him a follow-up question, I got banned. I got banned from the comment section of that video. And so I think my comment is still up, but it was, the follow-ups were deleted or edited and I'm gone. I don't know why, but I look at that as my follow-up was simple. I thought, Doc, you may be confused. And I pointed out just what I just told you. I guess he didn't like that. And out I go. And so that's one kind of, it's a weird interaction. On YouTube, we as the creators of our videos, YouTube offers us the ability to have control over our own comment section. So yes, in fact, we can delete somebody's comments along the way. We can't audit or edit their comments, but we can audit the comment section and delete certain ones. And we can certainly put filters on them, like as if people were to use too much profanity, for example. And if someone uses too much profanity, you cite certain words in the trip section where you let their algorithm, YouTube's algorithm, get tripped for certain curse words. It just does not let the comment go public. You have to approve it. Well, in my case, I don't have any filters on my comment section. So anybody says anything they want and it goes, boom, there it is. Have I had to delete, certain people that qualify as trolls? Oh yeah, that's happened. But that, I wasn't trolling the doc, I really wasn't. And for that matter, there are YouTubers out there who are speaking on certain subjects, and I was subscribed to their channels. And one of them in particular, I know I've spoken highly about him, is there's one called Bromley. I don't know, Alex Bromley, Bromley. And I found his channel kind of interesting, so I was subscribed to his channel at one point. And what really caught my attention was he was a strongman or a powerlifter competitor, and he had gotten off of steroids. He was documenting the entire process. At one point, he got off steroids because he said he was trying to get his wife pregnant. So he was trying to just have all his systems be as healthy as possible and have a baby with his wife. I thought it was a good video, realistic video, describing everything that actually happens when you get off the drugs. I've seen it with my friends. I know firsthand. There you go. However, in subsequent videos, at one point, he jumped on the Menser high-intensity training train and does that work. And of course, as most YouTubers found out, at the peak of interest in high-intensity training and Mike Menser specifically, It's kind of like the trend. And if you don't do a video on it, you're missing out on what? Clicks, views, even if you don't belong talking about it, okay? And he certainly didn't belong talking about bodybuilding and didn't belong talking about Mike Menser, because obviously in whatever video that was that he ran, see, I'm officially banned from his channel, so I can't even go there and tell you, but whatever video it was on Mike Menser. I'll see if I can find the thumbnail for you all. He banned me for putting up a comment. And the comment was, at one point in the video, he was just bashing Mike, and not just bashing him for his not just bashing him for his training, but he was including personal attacks on his drug use, when he was having an issue with drugs, that is, and then unnecessarily attacking his character. And so I made a comment, saying, dude, you really don't know what you're talking about here. And with regards to the training, you really don't know what you're talking about here, and you're showing your lack of understanding and comprehension of the training. And essentially, there's somebody right there who, I'm sure he could speak all day long about strongman, all day long about whatever powerlifting experience he has. I don't think that he's any kind of a world-class level powerlifter. But he's definitely not a bodybuilder. He's fat. And so, a fat guy talking about bodybuilding, a fat guy, with no physique talking about bodybuilding on top of it all. He's a YouTuber. That's what he is. And he's got, as I mentioned, I liked following his channel at one point because he's got a nice voice. I found it kind of smooth and easy to listen to. And a lot of things that he said made sense. Later on, that was one video right there that kind of turned me off to a little bit. And I still didn't unsubscribe to his channel. At that point, he shot back, a very snarky reaction comment to my comment. And at the end of mine, I did tell him, just take the video down. You don't know, you didn't belong making this video. Just do the right thing and take it down. Because it just looked bad. Didn't even get the kind of views the rest of his videos get. And because obviously I knew the man. Obviously I spent time with the man. Am I biased toward the man? Well, I'm saying it just like he said, yeah, he was my friend, okay? But there are just some simple facts that are obvious to anybody with 2 eyes, 2 ears. And you can go ahead and listen to that video and you'll see that this man was talking about something he didn't belong talking about. And he shouldn't have made the video in the first place. But his snarky comment back to me, which was very snarky, apparently, when I went to respond to him, his snarky comment, and I wasn't going to get nasty with him, I just was saying, dude, really, you don't have to be this way. You should just take the video down. He banned me. I know what it's like being banned from a channel. I know when it will not post your comments. I know when you go ahead and think you posted something and it's not there because YouTube the creator has banned you from their channel. And so insecure, really insecure. And especially when you got somebody like me who I do know what I'm talking about, where Menser and Menser high intensity training is concerned. So disappointing to say the least. I was reminded of this today because of certain other circumstances that happened. And I was asked by a friend of mine, not a YouTuber friend, but somebody, a YouTuber, yes, but not online. He actually asked me, have you had similar experiences to what he's had with other YouTubers kind of banning him just for making a comment on their channel and public space, right? And I told him, yeah, I did. And there were a couple of situations. These are 2 of them. So that's why today I'm knocking out that video. I don't mind saying it. If I'm giving them any kind of exposure to you all, fine. That's fine with me. But in any event, it's kind of like if you're going to go out there and talk about a subject matter, and you all know, as you've been watching my videos, I have almost 700 videos up. You don't see me talking about powerlifting. I credit powerlifters with being the strongest human beings on the planet. I tell y'all to follow certain powerlifting programs, such as, Louis Simmons, right? Conjugate method. I tell you to go and follow Chad Wesley Smith, right? And his juggernaut training principles. Marisa Inda, friend of mine, his girlfriend, trains that way as well. All of that, I tell you, if you ask me about strongman, I tell you go follow David Shaw, right? Those are out of my wheelhouse. I don't spend time pretending like I know what I'm talking about there. The best I could do with powerlifting is teach you linear periodization. I do know those programs. Those are going back about 30, 40 years. Past that point, it's made leaps and bounds since then, and I don't follow powerlifting, so therefore, I'm not really qualified to be talking about those things. I know my lane. I don't talk about boxing, okay, because I like watching boxing, but it's not my lane. So there's just some YouTubers that have been in a certain realm that if you're going to be there, then it's probably very important that you stay. And they're not asking me my advice, but I'm flat out saying it, that it's important that you, the consumer, right, in YouTube, realize what is the creator's background? Where do they come from? If you're looking at some, actually Jaquish, Dr. Jaquish, he looks like he's in good shape. But if you look at him, I've seen a few interviews with him. Obviously, he admits that he's on H.I.T. or TRT. He's not a natural bodybuilder, so you don't look to him for natural advice, obviously. Okay? He doesn't train natural bodybuilders. Variable resistance, he's got an education on it. He does know what he's talking about it. But obviously, he didn't know fully about Arthur Jones and his machines and how they were pretty precise with that resistance, except for one machine that he made with the leg curl. That was kind of backwards. He missed on that one. Yeah. The rest of them were well made according to the strength curve of the muscles. Man. So, Bromley, yeah, I'm naming him, giving him a little publicity. It's kind of rough, listening to someone who's obviously not a bodybuilder, is a strength athlete, and, has zero experience in bodybuilding, nor has ever trained in high intensity bodybuilding fashion, nor has ever trained in heavy duty style fashion. Never. Otherwise, he might know what he's talking about, but he hasn't, he didn't, and he didn't train people that way either. So there you go. So that's it for today. It's all about consider the source. Okay? Y'all can go back in my videos and see who my top YouTubers are, my top fitness YouTubers are. You'll see all the thumbnails in the last 6 months or so. I've done several videos on it. And I do recommend several channels that I have no association with. Okay? I think there's one that I did several interviews with, my boy Mike over at Hybrid Resistance. That's about the only one. The rest of them, I like watching them. That's all it is. So I recommend their channels. And then on the opposite side of the coin, I have to point out, consider the source. There's some channels I no longer follow. Regretfully, I did mention a couple of them. I think I mentioned Bromley way back as a channel that I do like, and I do like listening to him. So regretfully, I'm not going to go back and look at my videos and find which one it was. I'm just going to leave it as it is. But if you do go over his videos, you might find the one on H.I.T or Mike Menser and see some part of my comment in there. But you won't find any responses from me because I'm banned. That's it. So anyway, hope to see you guys soon. From my heart to you, John Hart. Hey, before you go, please consider joining my training community. You'll see this red box off to my left. Down below in the video section, okay, you can join that training community and gain the benefit of a lot of exclusive information I put out there only. And I get back very quick to any questions done through my community. I spend very little time in the comments section of my YouTube videos. Usually on a day when I post up videos, I'm in here and then I have to get back to the other. That's it. So please consider that. And then off to my left, you're going to see the subscribe button from my channel pop up. Please tap that. Let the YouTube algorithm know when you want to know and be notified when I have new videos pop up. And then down below and off to your left, you're going to see a thumbs up button. Please give that a tap and light up the YouTube algorithm, which lights me up too. I'll see you next time.